Hello and welcome to the Ironverse. My name is Hugo, and I'll be showing you uh, no new features today, but we'll be exploring a little bit in the generated world. Actually, just got home. It's so cold outside. I have some good news. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. So, I mean, holiday vacation. I'm gonna be busy, somewhat busy with family and stuff. Got family coming over, but I won't have to worry about a full-time job during those 2 weeks. So for sure, I'm gonna have some more time to um, work on Ironverse and add new stuff and fix a lot of the bugs that are there. So that's exciting. All right, so here we are. And like I'd mentioned in the last video, it is loading slower now, which is expected. Um, and I do intend on making this faster and working our way back up from here. But yeah, and we can fly now. If I right click, it'll actually prevent my character from falling, and I'll be able to walk midair, and I can jump. So that's how we're going to be essentially flying around now. And I just wanted to you know basically fly around and explore a little bit how this terrain is generated. Really basic algorithm. Um, using open simplex noise, which is basically just a noise algorithm, and so the height of the terrain is generated by just feeding in the x and the z coordinate of every tile into the algorithm, and that'll tell me whether a certain tile is um, above ground or not. Obviously, you can do a lot more interesting stuff. This is basically the most basic algorithm you could have. So it generates pretty smooth shapes. I mean, you've seen this from the beginning, but I never actually took the time to talk about it much. But the organic shapes, that's what Open Simplex does. Open Simplex is actually like basically an open source rewrite version of Simplex noise. So basically almost the same thing, and which Simplex is an improvement over Perlin noise. So you may have heard of Perlin noise before. Perlin noise, you'll get. I mean, sure, you'll have like smooth terrain like this, but you do run into some artifacts that you don't run into in Simplex noise. Things that have been fixed, and Simplex noise optimizes quite a few things as well compared to Perlin noise. So um, yeah, so it's supposed to be better overall. Um, yeah, so it should be fairly uniform. No, you shouldn't have any sudden cliffs with this. It's just smooth slopes up and down, and yeah, so that's how it works. So some interesting things that I may be doing later on, making some more complex terrain generation. Um, for one, instead of just using the simplex noise directly, um, you can actually layer multiple ones on different scales. So, a large scale one, for example, that would be just like an overall slope, like really big hills, like big enough that you wouldn't really be able to tell that it's a hill that much, and then like smaller scale hills that go on top of that, and you could even do a third layer on top of that for like a little bit more detail, so that it's the slopes aren't all that smooth. It could have like slopes that are a little bit more bumpy and that feel a little bit older, like there's been irrigation or stuff like that. Um, yeah, and then trees as well. That would probably do a lot for the terrain. Water, that will come, but a little bit later. That's one of the more complex things to deal with. Yeah, because to do water, that also means that you need to manage, how water flows and stuff, which means you need to be able to execute um, actions every set amount of time, and that's not in place yet, so can't do water quite yet. At least not flowing water. Um, Theoretically you could have a block of water that doesn't move, but right. And then the other thing is caves. Again, you can use you could use simplex noise for that. Um, just you could use the 3D version of it, for example, because this terrain is generated with the 2D version of it. Uh, just it just gives you you input two values and you get one out. So x and z you get. But in the 3D one, you input x, y, z and you get a value out. So you could say, for example, anything that's below the y coordinate of 0. So that would be the first bit of logic, so that whatever you generate would be only underground. And you could say if the value is, I don't know, in between 0.5 and 0.6, then that's air. And so you'd have probably little snaky paths underground. So there's lots of stuff you can do just using like different kinds of mathematical operations on noise functions. So and there's other noise functions that could be interesting to play with as well. Yeah. And then for biomes, then you'd have a different set of conditions that would generate different biomes in different areas. And to make it smooth, you could have the like a base noise function that you use for the terrain, and then instead of just using like a different one in other areas, you would use math on it. Basically, you could have a multiplier on the height, make the slopes steeper, or a decimal multiplier to make it like shallower, more flat. You can use exponents, all sorts of cool stuff. So for sure, I'll be when we get there, I'll make lots of examples and package them into modules so that you can just use them without having to write any of them. But if you are interested in writing some, then you'll have lots of examples to look at and to try out. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let me know in the comments or on Discord any ideas you have, anything you think. If you'd like me to show something different, if you think my videos are boring, like that's fine. Just let me know how I can improve so I can make them interesting for you. Yeah. So yeah. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye.